Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satha Shri Srimad Divine Grace Labhaya Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satha Shri Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त बंद की जाए। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाए। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जाए। नवदीप श्री मायापुर धाम की जाए। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जाए। गंगा माय वन माय की जाए। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जाए। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाए। Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution की जाए। The Most Merciful Lordship Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan जी की जाए। The Most Merciful Lordship Shri Shri Gaunithai की जाए। The Most Merciful Lordship Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani की जाए। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाए। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए। थाय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva, text number 6. Rajnyam Vrittim Karadana Rajnyam Vrittim Karadana Danda Sulkadi Darunam दंडशुल्कादिदारुणां मन्यमानो दीर्घसत्र व्याजेन विससर्जः राज्ञां वृत्तिं करादान 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 दंडशुल्कादिदारुणां मन्यमानो दीर्घसत्र व्याजेन विससर्जः. Any Matajis? राज्ञां वृत्तिं करादान दंडशुल्कादिदारुणां मन्यमानो दीर्घसत्र व्याजेन विससर्जः. श्री श्री गौनिथाय की जय, श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन जी की जय, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Before that we will read word to word translation. Rajnyam, of the kings, Vrittim, source of livelihood, Kara, taxes, Adana, realization, Danda, punishment, Sulka, fines, Adi, etc. Darunam, which are very severe, Manyamanaha, thinking like that, Dirgha, long, Satra, sacrifice, Vyajena, on the plea, Vishasarja, gave up, Ha, in the past. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: whenever Antardhana, the supreme royal power, had to extract taxes, punish his citizens, or fine them severely, he was not willing to do so. Consequently, he retired from the execution of such duties and engaged himself in the performance of different sacrifices. Please repeat. Whenever Antardhana, the supreme royal power, had to exact taxes, punish his citizens, or fine them severely, he was not willing to do so. Consequently, he retired from the execution of such duties and engaged himself in the performance of different sacrifices. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is clear herein that the king sometimes has to perform duties which are not very desirable just because he is the king. Similarly, Arjuna was not at all willing to fight because fighting or killing one's own kinsmen and family members is not at all desirable. Nonetheless, the Kshatriyas had to perform such undesirable actions as a matter of duty. Maharaj Antardhana was not very happy while exacting taxes or punishing the citizens for their criminal activities. Therefore, on the plea of performing sacrifices, he retired from the royal majestic power at a very early age. Omajanatavendasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam dadati svapadantikam Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhu bhaivacha Paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam bangom langayate girim yatkupatamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. So it is mentioned here about this son of Prithu Maharaj, Antardhana. Antardhana, he is a very, very great personality in the sense that he is a very great devotee of the Lord. Devotees generally do not like to see others suffer. Even if it is for their own good, they don't like to see. It's called para dukkha dukhi. Devotees are para dukkha dukhi. So, and such people, when they take up administration, there will be a lot of problem. And this Antardhana has such heart, so very, very soft heart. So, when he became the king, then obviously when there is administration, in administration all kinds of things have to be dealt with. Some people are very, very loyal. Some people are very simple. Some people are very rebellious. Some people will turn out to be criminals. So all these kinds of people have to be properly dealt with. And not only that, the treasury has to be maintained properly for the overall administration, for the overall upkeep of the whole empire, and also for administering some social welfare activities for the people. So they have to collect taxes, and the taxes will come from the citizens only. It's not that he has some other special treasury in which he will get the money. So, either modern governments or royal governments, everybody has to sustain on taxes. We have something called GST. GST has changed the face of India because now the money is coming. Earlier people were evading the taxes, but now they have made it compulsory, mandatory. Any purchase they make, the person who purchases, the person who sells, they all have to register that so that the respective taxes can be collected. So anyway, the point is that taxes have to be collected. Nobody likes to pay taxes. That is a general disposition of everybody. Because everybody tends to think that this is my money. Why will I pay tax? Why should I pay tax to the government? This is my money, my hard-earned money. But your hard-earned money is also coming from the hard work of so many people. So it's not just your money. Everybody is making money out of someone else. So no one can claim that, it's all my effort. We are taking the effort of someone else, taking a portion of the effort of someone else, giving only a portion of it to them as some wages. Otherwise, every one of us are, living by somebody else. That is the nature of this world. Jivo jivasya jivanam. So everybody has to live on someone. But what is allowed and what is not allowed is defined in the scripture. Ahastani sahastanam apadani chatushpadam falgena tatra mahatam jivo jivasya jivanam. It is ordained in the scripture, ahastani sahastana. If a living entity who doesn't have legs, then he doesn't have hands, he becomes the prey, or he becomes the food for that living entity who has hands. Or that living entity which doesn't have apadani. Apadani means no legs. And he becomes the prey for chatushpadam. Chatushpada means four-legged. Falguni tatra mahatam. The weak becomes the prey for the stronger. That is the way of life in this material world. It's called pecking order. So, you can't say that this is injustice. I do have right to live. Just like a small insect, he has the right to live. But if the lizard comes and swallows that, can you say that he is doing injustice? Because by the arrangement of the creation, one becomes the food for the other. So it's a very high consciousness. But if you try to bring justice between that lizard and the insect, somebody or the other will be very unhappy with you. If you say, hey lizard, don't swallow this krimi, then the lizard will be unhappy. But if you say the lizard, you can swallow, it's anyway your food, then the krimi will be very unhappy. Although it's a simple example, that is how the whole world is. In administration, what happens? You have to offer a judgment. You have to give justice. So when you give justice, someone will be favorably, disposed, someone will be unfavorably disposed towards you. Because if someone is gaining, someone is losing. So those who gain, they are very happy with you. Those who lose, they will be envious of you. Why all these politicians have big security? You think? A big, huge security. Because they are influencing thousands and millions of people with their decisions. So when they are influencing, somebody may become unhappy. And then they blow them up. They may kill them. That is how Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who was the Prime Minister of India, was killed by LTT. It was in some other country. He had taken one decision, which did not, it was not liked by them. LTT. So LTT, they blew up. They killed him. They don't have any personal enmity, or he doesn't have any personal enmity with them. But the decisions that are made are going to influence thousands and millions of people. So similarly, administration, many people think that, they sit on the very high seat, they take all the worship, but they also take all the guns, bullets also. They don't take only the worship. So people think that, these politicians, they are enjoying very much, or the leaders, they are enjoying very much, but they are also accepting the karma of the people, their subjects. It is said 1/6 of the karmic reactions of all the people whom they are subjecting, who are subjected to their rule, they will have to take it. So, this person, Antardhana, he was not comfortable doing such things. A saintly person does not want to take sides. You need a diplomat in administration. You put a saintly person in administration, he will mess up. He will mess up in the sense, he will leave it to Krishna. It doesn't mean that the other person doesn't leave it to Krishna. He thinks that whatever now happens, I cannot do anything, whatever happens, happens. When I first came to this temple, how Radha Yatra used to be, the leader of the Radha Yatra, or the temple president, he would take one gong, our Vishaketi Prabhu. He would take one gong and he would simply chant Hare Krishna. Whoever has to take the deities, they will take the deities. Whoever has to put the deities on the Rath, they will put. Whoever has to do whatever they have to do, they will do. He will not say anything. He will simply depend on Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. I am not criticizing Vishakirti Prabhu. He is a very wonderful devotee. So he is a saintly person. He is not fit for administration. He understood that. Very soon he understood that he was not actually, very good or effective in the administration. Some Rajasic person is required for administration. One who can take decisions and one who can actually take the accusations. He can also take the praises, but he can also has to take the accusations of people. So you cannot say, I don't know, it's all up to Krishna. You have to deliver. You have to say, when things are, something is happening, you have to take a decision, immediate decision. So, someone who wants to be in a very spiritually elevated position, he doesn't want to deal with this. Even Prabhupada did not like so much of administration. Although he was dealing with the whole of international administration. Towards the end, he was, after forming the GBC, he said to his disciples, don't trouble me with this administration. I want to spend my time writing books. You take care of the administration. Let me take care of this writing. But still, the disciples were not able to manage properly. Because it's not that, anybody can manage. A management has to be very just, impartial, and they should not encourage nepotism. All these qualities an administrator must have. Only then the praja will be very happy. And it is no less than a devotee who can do it. And then keep almost everyone happy. One sannyasi told me few years ago that you have to keep everybody happy. Then only you can be a manager. Then I told him, Maharaj, it is impossible to keep everybody happy. He was trying to explain to me. Then I asked, I am not happy with you. Will you resign, Maharaj? I asked. He was just shocked that I put this question. I am not happy with you. Will you resign? You obviously cannot resign. So it's not that, you can keep everybody happy. It's not possible to keep everybody happy because we are not living in Ramarajya. We are living in Kali Rajya. In Kali Rajya, everybody wants to fight with another person. Everybody wants to be unjust. Everybody wants to extract something, unduly extract something from others. So you have to be strong with some people. You cannot do this. If you do this, I will have to punish you. Then that person will obviously not be happy. Criminal wants to snatch away somebody else's property, and criminal has to be punished. And there must be severe punishment. Then only that person will be, a little fearful, and then he will not do it again. So, administration has to perform all these activities. It is mentioned here. What is that? Sulka, danda. Danda sulkadi darunam. Darunam means they are very severe. Those things are very severe. Danda means punishing. Sulka means collecting taxes. Nobody likes these things. You have to give one portion of whoever it is, whatever you do, some portion has to be given for the income tax department. That's it. Beyond 5 lakhs if you are earning, it has to go. Some money has to go. So nobody likes this. So administration is sometimes criticized by people. And if the administration is not God-given administration, if the administration is chosen by the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, then it is going to be much worse because the administration is depending on the quality of people. If the quality of people are very low, the administration is going to be low. If the quality of people, if the people are thieves, they would definitely elect another big thief. So today that is what is happening, unfortunately. People have lost all kinds of sense because they are too much into sense gratification, they have lost all sense. So whom will they elect? They will elect such a government who will offer boons to them. Everything is free. Everything is free. Don't do anything. Just be in the house. People only will give. Ration will come. Money will go to your account. Everything. And after that, probably they will also appoint some people who can even get to the bank and, ATMs also, draw money and then give. They'll appoint some people also for that purpose. So you make them very lazy. So modern governments, they wanted to do this for the people so that they can get votes and they get some commission out of it. Obviously, if somebody is delivering all the things at your house, he is also keeping some portion, isn't it? Otherwise, why would you do that? So these kinds of governments are very much encouraged in the present day society because people are very lazy. But actually, who is the right government? The government should see to that people are having proper engagements, fulfilling engagements. It is said, 5 kinds of people have to be protected. Who are those 5 kinds of people? The cows have to be protected. Brahmanas have to be protected. Children have to be protected. Old people have to be protected. And Stri or women have to be protected. These are defenseless living entities. So good administration means they must make sure that these 5 kinds of people are protected properly, safeguarded properly. But so you can decide whether that administration is good or not just by this litmus test of looking at these 5. Excuse me, please sit down and don't make noise, please. So these 5 kinds of people, whether they are properly cared for or not. So today in the modern society we see these 5 kinds of people are not at all cared for properly. You look at the cows, what is the situation of cows? Look at the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are the most disrespected entities, in fact. Today Brahmana, if you become a Brahmana, you will never get married. Nobody is ready to give their daughter to them. Pandit ji, aap kya kamayenge? Nahi denge aapko. The Brahmanas and the Kisans, that means farmers. These 2 are the people who are not able to get married because nobody is ready to give them. Suppose some of our brahmacharis, if they want to get married, suppose they want to get married, nobody is ready to give them unless they have some high pay or position. I am just a full-time volunteer in the temple. Will you give your daughter? Nobody is ready to give anybody. That is the situation. In fact, there must be a good competition for all the young and beautiful and virtuous girls to get married to such young brahmacharis who are very virtuous. But that is the society today. Women are the most abused in this society, present society. Cows, women, Brahmanas, old people are most neglected. The moment you take out the voting rights from the old people, then you will know what is going to happen. They are going to be killed. Because they have voting rights, they are still sustaining in some way or the other. And then, what to speak of children? Children, as Prabhupada said, children are being sent to slaughterhouses, butchered by the modern education. And what is modern education? You are so powerful, you can do anything. Don't bend your head to anyone. That is the education. You are the Lord of all you survey. That is the education, modern education. But actual education, knowledge begins with amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantir, arjavam, acharyopasanam, saucham, stairyam, atma vinigraha, indriyardesh vairagyam, anahankara evacha. All these things are part of knowledge. So we see all these 5 kinds of entities are abused. So that is how we assess how the modern governments are functioning. But what is that they can do also with the kind of quality of the living entities, quality of people that they have? They also can't do much. Suppose if Amrish Maharaj comes now, Yudhishthira Maharaj comes now, or Lord Rama comes also, he is voted out of power. He will be voted out of power, 100% guaranteed. Duryodhana's thumping majority they will get. Kamsas, Duryodhanas, they will get thumping majority. Because they can do all politics. Politics means what? Make friends, avoid enemies. Always looking for who is my friend, who is my enemy. How to make friendship. And while making friendship, samadana, danda, beda, all these things are going on. Whether I can offer him some money, I can threaten him. I can somehow make him my friend by speaking nicely. Sama. Dana means money. Danda means, with a stick. Bheda means who is his enemy. And how to make differences. Divide and rule, divide and rule. This is what is modern politics is. Britishers are expert in this modern politics. They have given this disease and went. Divide and rule disease. This is what is Britishers' gift to this whole society. Modern society. Because at one point of time, they were the rulers for all of the world. They were ruling the world where the sun never sets. Sun never sets means what? East or west, everything is theirs. They were the rulers. How did they rule? They actually took advantage of Kali. They were actually Kali Chelas. They are agents of Kali. Divide and rule, divide and rule. So that is why any Dharmatma cannot rule nowadays. If he is a Dharmatma, he is voted out of power. Hey, Sadhu Mahatma hai, iske liye kabil nahi hai. Leave him. So ye Dharmatma, ye Mahatma, who Antardhana, he could not rule. He felt that I cannot rule. So he retired at a very early age. Even though he was very, very powerful, he was young, but still he retired. So somebody else has to take care. So that is why our temple presidents also cannot sustain for a long time. True. Hyderabad has a history of a lot of temple presidents who could not sustain for a long time. There was one Maharaj who was put as a president. In 6 months, he ran away from this temple and then somewhere else. Someone else was there for 4 months, like that. So, because in our ISKCON society, you have to do the dual role. Temple president means purely not administrative role. You also have to do a Brahminical role, you also have to do administrative role. Both have to be done. And it is much more difficult. Because at least if you have one guna, you can do one thing. But you have to change your gunas. You have to be sattvic, you have to be rajasic. So that is why Srila Prabhupada is giving the example of Arjuna here. Arjuna wanted to be very compassionate. He doesn't want to fight with his friends and relatives. So he said, I will not fight, my dear Krishna. But Arjuna as a Kshatriya, he has to fight. He has to be an instrument in establishing the principles of Dharma. So, sometimes it happens, this is called Dharma Mimamsa. When we have to administer, these things happen. At different levels, these things happen. Even for a saintly person, if he has to deal with disciples, some of the disciples are very aggressive. Some of the disciples are very, very submissive. I have read one conversation between Srila Prabhupada while he was dealing with 2 persons. One was Hayagriva Prabhu, another was Kirtanananda Swami. This was a very high, intense discussion because each one was fighting with the other person. And this is about the new Vrindavan project. And Prabhupada had to literally witness that fight. So somehow by the divine mercy, they finally listened to what Prabhupada said, but they have put Prabhupada in such an uncomfortable situation. Like that, many instances in which Prabhupada had to deal with this kind of, this kind of situations. There were, one time sannyasis. There was a battle between grahasthas and the sannyasis. Another time, just recently we were reading an episode where Hare Krishna Maharaj was given sannyas. When he was given sannyas, he was just married 1 year ago. And he had a very qualified and very good wife, but Hare Krishna Maharaj wanted to get sannyas. So Prabhupada had to give sannyas. He has given sannyas. But then there were women who were the victims of that. They were not happy with Prabhupada. They had tried to argue with Prabhupada. The women who came it happened in Jaipur, and there were already 2 women, Srimati and then some other Mataji. They were arranging programs for Prabhupada, and they were friends of this Mataji, who is the wife of Hare Krishna Maharaj, Madhuri Devidasi. So they were not very happy that they came and argued with Prabhupada. What happens to this girl if their husband takes sannyas? But Prabhupada has to propagate this mission. So for propagating this mission, he requires sannyasis, more and more sannyasis. So how difficult it is. It's not easy to be a leader. Everybody envies the leader, but they don't know what the leader has to go through, what kind of difficulties the leader has to go through. So we should not condemn such leaders. Rather, we should empathize with such leaders. That, if you are a follower, try to be a good follower. If you are a leader, try to be a good leader. But always remember one principle. Nobody can be a good leader unless one becomes a follower, good follower. No one can be a good leader. Just like no one can be a guru unless one becomes a good disciple. So the principle of leadership is this, that you have to be strong when you have to be strong, and you have to be soft when you have to be soft. So Prabhupada gave a formula of leadership. What was the formula Prabhupada gave? The leadership is, you should be like a Bengali mother and a British general. Combination of both should be there. Bengali mothers are very, very adorable, soft-hearted, very, very loving. And the British generals, they are very strict, cutthroat they are. So he said both qualities must be there in administration. When you have to show this, you show that. When you have to be strict, you have to be strict. Then you can be a good administrator. Any one of this, you will be flooded away, swept away. So, anyway, Maharaj Antardhana, so he thought that, I can't deal with all this. Let my next person deal with this. Let me go and, do sacrifices. So he was doing sacrifices. He was actually doing devotional service practically. So he retired. So, it's a matter of realization when you want to retire. Everybody has to retire. Some people realize it quickly and retire. Some people will drag on like our modern politicians. Till 80, 85, they'll drag on and then get kicked. And finally they are rejected as useless lot. Then they will naturally retire. They will die and get retired. Before actually you get retired like that, better you be a realized retired person. So similarly, even leadership is also like that. You don't try to be a leader till the last moment. Hand over the responsibility to the next generation. That is safe, and it is a sign of detachment. So here we see that Antardhana Maharaj, he was doing that. So these are some points for discussion today. Anyone has any questions or comments?
You were speaking about in administration, generally we hear about the negative side of politics and one should avoid such kind of political diplomacy. But the nature of the role of administration is such that some level of that politics somehow that creeps in. So, Priti, I want to ask: is there a good side of that politics? Because even Bhishma Dev also spoke to Yudhishthira about Raja Dharma, and I want to know is there any positive side? And I feel that is also very important to properly rule and do good to others. So, how to understand that in the right context to have a positive side of the
The negative side of the administration is politics. The positive side of administration is called diplomacy. So there is a difference between diplomacy and politics. What is the difference? Politics is selfish. Diplomacy has some sense of service. Diplomats are different from politicians. Diplomats wants to see that everyone gets their share and then try to be happy. They don't try to see what is my profit in this, what is advantageous for me. That's not called a diplomat. Politician will definitely look for his own share. So, for actually to rule and administer properly, one has to be a devotee. Because a devotee can actually do this service properly because he is always in the mood of serving others. So if he has those acumen of being a diplomat, then he is the best person to rule. But it's a thin line. You may start with diplomacy, but you end up in political. It's a thin line. That is why Shastra says you should always be guarded by Brahmanas. Because Brahmanas will not let you cross that line. They will make you selfless and then be a good diplomat. The moment that guidance is gone, then for sure this person will cross the line and then he will become a politician. My way is highway, I am all right, no one should challenge me, no one should question me, and then it just becomes monstrous. So, whether it is a general administration or there is a miniature or micro or macro administration, the principle is that if you are guided by a selfless person, then you can administer properly, like a diplomat. Otherwise, you will become very political. That's the side. Is that making sense?
But in the same line, our main literature is like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So we hear a lot about detachment. Like we heard about Anga Maharaj Katha, he left, and now this Andardhan and all. So when we look at from Bhagavatam's approach point of view, it appears that it supports more of detachment than responsibility. So then, and when we talk about being a diplomat and all, some other being devotees, that feeling of guilt comes in the heart. Array, I'm supposed to be a devotee, and then now this responsibility has come, and I'm supposed to be diplomatic in order to do welfare only. So then it creates kind of a discouragement, and then how people leave responsibility and go. So what kind of state of heart should be there? Maintain the Bhagavatam principle, and at the same time do our service really.
Yeah, but we must also understand that the purification is gradual. It's not that, just today I want to be a detached person. You can't be a detached person. It's not possible for us. You have to gradually do devotional service which will purify our heart and then we become a detached person. there was an emergency. Prabhupada had to forcibly, he has to ask people, you take sannyas. But that is not the natural process. Natural process is brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So there is a natural, gradual progression towards detachment. So, if someone is a young man, they have to be guided in administration if they are capable of. And administration has to be monitored. Today, I must openly say that our biggest problem is we don't have monitoring. Our administrators are not monitored properly. Because too much of expansion, no qualified leadership, there is obviously no possibility for monitoring. Unmonitored administrator is going to be monstrous. So don't take up administration if you are not monitored. Even there is no arrangement of monitoring, you subject yourself to to somebody's guidance, to somebody's supervision. You voluntarily subject yourself if you are taking up administration. Otherwise, dangerous. Don't take up administration. It is going to burn you, for sure. Take it for granted. If you are not monitored, it is going to burn you. And our disease is we don't like to be monitored. Our disease is we don't like to be monitored, but we like to monitor everyone else. This is the very dangerous combination. And if such a person becomes a leader, everybody will be burnt under the leadership of such a person. So young people have to accept this, responsibility. They cannot run away in the name of, I am a brahmachari, my duty is to only detachment. You practice detachment. No problem. What is our detachment? Our detachment is not to accept the fruit of our activity. That is the detachment. Not karma tyag. It is karma phala tyag is the actual detachment. So you do your karma, you do your activity, whatever is given to you, whatever service is given to you, you do it. But when appreciation comes, pass it on to your superiors. Or when criticism comes, accept with all responsibility. So that is the nature of a good leader or a good devotee, a good administrator. Saying is easy. Sit on this seat and give big lecture is easy. When you are actually facing these things from people, it's like sitting on a hot seat. But we have to go through this. This is the purification that we have to go through. Otherwise, what kind of austerities that we have today, tell me? No physical austerities. Our brahmachari ashrams are also like, very sophisticated. Am I right? I'm not criticizing, but by the way, but it's the truth. We have internets, we have everything everywhere. Thanks that, we still have not brought ACs to brahmachari ashram. Maybe in future, we don't know. ACs also may come, I don't know. At least here we don't have. Ashram is like oven. You're right. At least in the summer season. Good, be happy. I hope you are not criticizing the administration. Anyway, so there is no physical austerity so much, and prasadam, very nice prasadam is there. Those days ashrams means what? Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would fill all the beds with books and he would say, if you want to sleep, distribute all the books and sleep. Next day he would again fill up. This was the ashram standard. It was not an exaggeration, it was true. So we don't have such stern rules like that. So what is the austerity for us? Austerity is for being subjected to supervision by a superior authority. That is an austerity. Definitely I would say it's an austerity. It's an austerity of our ego. Right? Anything else? Give the mic, please.
Here we see King Antardhan Maharaja.
Huh?
Antardhan Maharaja is taking retirement very early. He was not able to adjust. So, we see in the case of Arjuna, Krishna, he instructed him that as a Kshatriya, you have to do your duties.
What?
As a Kshatriya, you have to do your duty, Krishna
Right.
tells. Whereas here we see, regarding Maharaj Antardhana, what he was doing, he was taking retirement very early. So how do we see this, both two cases?
He did rule for some time. He did rule for some time.
Because it may take, people may take the advantage of this.
No, but he kept a qualified leader. It's not that he was just running away from this. He kept a qualified leader and left. So even if you want to retire, you must train a qualified leader and then retire. Don't just leave it to Krishna. Now only Krishna will take care. I am going away. That is not right. That's not responsibility. Any service we have accepted, if you want to quit that service and want to do something more or something more spiritual, everything is spiritual, but if you want to quit, then you must make sure that there is a responsible person. Training is your responsibility. You can't just go and run away, walk away. That's very improper. Then,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. For a teacher, is it wise to or correct? For a teacher profession, is it right, wise to punish or scold students?
For a teacher, is it proper to punish the students? Well, punishment is not proper, but one has to correct the students. That is the responsibility of the teacher. And how you administer that correction, you have to assess it properly. Either by speech or by, something else. Definitely the physical punishment today is not acceptable. You can't beat the children.
Scold.
Scolding also is a different kind of scolding. Demeaning a person is not proper. Scolding means reminding their responsibility strongly is not called scolding. But demeaning, you're useless fellow, you never come in time, and this and that, that is very bad. That's called abuse. One should not abuse the children. Children are they have to be very carefully, they have to be taken care of.
Krishna's mercy also we can ask for that. We can take Krishna's blessings also to do all this.
Oh yes, everybody requires Krishna's blessings. Last question.
Hare Krishna. Sir, it is called that we should not see negative things. We should see only positive things in our life. But to stay away from negativity, we should learn what is negative thing and then we can stay away from negative. So should we see both the things, negative and positive, or only keep seeing only positive things?
One should keep seeing positive things. You don't have to see negativity purposefully. It is always there. Like it is said, this world that we are in is full of negativity. And when it's full of negativity, to see negativity in full of negativity is not a great art. But if you can find some good thing in that full of negativity, it's a great art. You see? So, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan. Kali is full of dosha nidhi. So, everybody is finding dosha. This is dosha, that is dosha. That is all right. It is seen, very obviously seen, everywhere dosha is there. But can you see any Mahatguna, a good quality in Kali Yuga? Then you are an intelligent person. So everybody wants to see negative things, negative things. It's obviously negative. Everywhere there is negativity only. So even in a negative thing, you can find one positive thing. There is positive thing. So it is said in Kali Yuga, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, hastin eko mahatguna. One good quality Kali Yuga has. What is that? Kirtana deva Krishnasya. If you simply chant Krishna Kirtana, Mukta Sangha Param Rajet, all the negativity of the Kali Yuga will be simply be finished. Simply by taking one good quality of Kali Yuga. So that is the principle for us. Nobody is all bad. There must be some good quality. We just have to find. Where the lotus blooms? In dirty water only. But lotus is very pure. But lotus is surrounded by dirty, muddy water. Similarly, everybody may have dirty consciousness, but there may be a lotus-like guna may be there. If we look at that, then we become like a honeybee. Honeybee and housefly, what is the difference? Honeybee always goes and crawls on the honey. Housefly, wherever dirty things is there, he will go and then fall in it. So devotee should be like a honeybee, not like a housefly. That is what makes a person devotee. So we should try to be like that with the inspiration that we receive from our superiors. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.